Welcome to the Brad and Taylor Show. Today we have Kittyanne Hudson.
You're listening to The Brad and Taylor Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to pursue their passions. We're sitting down with some of the best to learn how they got started and some lessons they learned along the way.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Doing good. Well, let's get this show started. Tell us a little bit about you. What do you do?
I'm Kittyanne Hudson. I'm a realtor, licensed realtor, obviously, in the state of Michigan. I'm also a mom of four. I'm an avid golfer. I just graduated from the Michigan Realtors Leadership Academy. That was a 2-year-long course that only 14 agents in the entire state were a part of. So that was pretty cool. I was the first one from Jackson to be able to do that. Been in real estate now for just shy of 5 years.
Nice. Tell us more about that. Like, how's that work?
Yeah, so I got licensed in 2017, late in 2017, like September of 2017. Was able to close a couple of transactions, and then 2018 dove all in and stopped doing all these other side gigs and doing that, and was all into real estate and ended up closing 51 transactions my first year in the business. So it's been fun. It's been an exciting handful of years. I moved over to Production Realty in 2019. And since then, we've been in full-on growth mode over at Production. And in the last year, we've actually been able to gain 25% more agents than we had the year before. So we were able to hire a handful of people in the last couple of years, hoping to keep that going as we roll into 2022.
Nice. So what did you do before real estate?
My degree is in human resources, HR background, and I dabbled in property management a little bit. But really the nuts and bolts of my growing up, my 20s and then into my 30s was just waiting tables. A lot of time in customer service and in the restaurant industry. I laugh with a lot of people when it comes to real estate. How are you doing this? How do you know how to talk to people? It's just burgers and beers with a way bigger bill, right? So instead of hanging out with you guys for 45 minutes and getting you food and ranch dressing, I'm selling you houses and hanging out with you for about 45 days, sometimes longer, sometimes less, depending on the market.
Yeah.
So
that kind of reminds me, you said burgers and beers. You and Ben had a little thing going on podcast, or what was that, Facebook?
We tried this whole podcast thing. We need to bring it back.
I loved it. I watched it.
Yeah, News and Brews.
Yes.
We need to bring it back. We really do. I'm actually, sneak peek into 2022. We're hoping to team up with Agma Brewery, which is a new brewery in Jackson, and actually film there and offer some discounts if you mention that you watch the show and that kind of stuff.
That'd be sweet.
The problem was after we got the kids to bed and then it was time to clock into News and Brews, we were just whooped. I've already taken off my makeup. I'm in my jammies. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, we definitely need to bring that back, and it's on the docket for 2022.
I love the name of it.
We just chatted about things that were happening in the industry and stuff that we were experiencing in our transactions, and it was I think it was informative for the general public, and you didn't have to be engaged in a real estate transaction for it to make sense. It was just these questions that nobody wants to ask, but everybody needs to answer to. So you're right. We should bring it back. Thank you for the vote of confidence. We will do that.
I seriously loved it. I saw you guys doing it on Facebook, and I was like, what is this?
I know. I need to take all the old episodes and upload them onto a YouTube channel and do the thing. It's just there's only so many hours in the day, and I just never have enough of them.
Where did the idea come from?
Probably drinking beer. No, Ben is a real estate broker, so he has been in the industry, oh my God, I think for just shy of 20 years now, and he's had Production Realty since 2009. We're an independent brokerage, and so he has all of the knowledge and so many experiences that he's done and dealt with, whether it's with people in the industry, actual customers and clients, or with agents, especially newer agents that have all of these questions and just don't have the practical experience yet to really answer them on their own. And so we spend a lot of time talking about real estate, so we might as well, we're like, oh, let's get some marketing out of this and help people at the same time. So it just kind of spiraled from there. I think we got maybe 30 episodes in over the course of the last year and a half. So yeah, we should bring that back. Need some podcast tips from you guys.
Is the brewery that you guys, maybe if you guys bring it back, if you guys are thinking about doing there, is that by your new location?
It is, yeah. So they just opened up downtown Jackson. They were a 3-year process in two. So similar story, found an old building in downtown Jackson, and have been rehabbing and remodeling it for the last handful of years. Yeah. Lots of permits and hiccups type of things that happen anytime you're dealing with a commercial build out. But yeah, so now we can walk to it with our new location downtown. We're a couple blocks away, but it's still definitely walking distance. And I'm good friends with the owners of it. And so I feel like we can just kind of collaborate a little bit and put something together. So
perfect. For everybody who doesn't know where your new location is, what is the address? Do you know?
It is 213 North Jackson Street. So for all of you that are local to Jackson, it's the old Veach's Office Bar. We purchased that back in 2019 and have spent the last 2 years just renovating the crap out of it. And we are fully moved in and operating out of there. A couple of tweaks, growing pains that we're trying to figure out how to really button everything up and make it be perfect. But it's such a cool space. It's so fun.
I know. I love those older buildings. Do you guys have the exposed brick too on it?
So not on the inside. All of our interior was plaster and it was all like completely failed. So we actually skim coated everything and then put drywall up and framed it all out that way. Yeah. We're hoping to bring back one of the exposed brick walls behind one of the drywall, but we were just let's just get this place open, So drywall was a lot faster on that back wall, but it's in the plans to hopefully bring some brick back into it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Totally understand that one.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, you guys have. I mean, I don't know what it looked like before, but it looks like you guys have done an amazing job in this building.
Not like this.
So
it was all
very dirty.
failed plaster.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Plaster.
I know. Messy stuff to take down.
Yes.
Nice. Awesome. What is the worst property that you've seen over the last 5 years you've been in real estate?
There's been some pretty crappy ones. There's been some amazing, beautiful ones too. I was trying to think about that too. I think one of the worst ones, I was actually like down in the Hillsdale area, which is a really rural area of lower Michigan. And the house was vacant, but when we left, we were just covered in fleas, from fleas everywhere. And then you have to bomb your car and you've got to vacuum everything out and change your clothes. And now you've got these little bites and it's just gross.
You walk in, they're like
it's
everywhere.
Just so irritating. Well, you don't see them, because they're like just itty bitty, but then you leave and you're like, oh, my leg is itching. And then you're like, oh my God, there's fleas all over my pants, And so that was one of them. And then when I was doing property management, tenants aren't always the greatest at taking care of their places. I do remember walking into one and there was just like cockroaches everywhere. And you're just like, okay, I'll be back later, or not. Like, we're done.
Not.
Yeah, can I just have that rent money, please, real quick?
Right.
So
pass it through the window.
Right under the door. Right. It's just But those are probably the two worst experiences like two worst houses that I've been in. Yeah, bugs. Ugh. Bugs. Yeah. And then you're just afraid they're everywhere.
They probably were too.
Yeah, I mean, we had to bomb the car out. It was pretty gross.
That is crazy. So what is some advice you got kind of when you started out that kind of stuck with you along the way?
I think like I've kind of like held on to this mantra of think it, believe it, achieve it. And it sounds really corny and simple, and it's probably on some sign somewhere at TJ Maxx, but it's like, it's really, I think our thought process and the way that like our self-talk is really, really important to our success, right? So if we have an idea or if we have a problem that we need to solve or whatever it is, I mean, you have to think about it, and you have to think about it in the right connotation, and you have to build on those thoughts, and then eventually you can convince yourself to believe in whatever that thought is. Yeah. Once you believe it, then you're actually able to achieve it, and it helps just build that confidence and keep you going on. So that's really what I've held on to over the handful of last years. Just think it, believe it, and achieve it.
100% though. In real estate, you have to believe in yourself.
Very much so.
If you don't, you're going to fail.
Right. And I think the more, like the more transactions that you do and the more experiences that you have in the industry, the more confidence you naturally gain, So if you're only able to, if it takes a long time to get that first deal going, it's okay. But then you get that first deal and all of a sudden those gears start turning, and you're so excited for the next one, and one builds on the next one over and over and over again. So in just shy of these 5 years of being in the industry, being all into the industry for 4, I've closed just shy of 200 deals. Nice. I mean, I think that's a cool number. You know what I mean?
I think that's great.
It's not the best amount of business that anybody's doing in Jackson, but I'm also a one-man team. I don't have an assistant. I don't have a transaction coordinator. I'm taking that transaction from the time it starts, like those initial phone calls and matching up with a lender and getting you all the way into the table, or on the other side, on the sell side, like start to finish, you're talking to me. That's it, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have those numbers in my pocket.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you think you'll add on somebody soon? Maybe to help those
transactions? So I've gotten so close to pulling the trigger on doing that over the course of the last couple of years, really just in the last 2. But I have this goal that I want to be able to crush $6.5 million volume on my own. And then once I hit that mark, I don't know why that number is there, but for whatever reason, if I hit $6.5 million, then yes, I will bring somebody else on and be able to to continue and hopefully build my business and then hit 10 million and continue to grow that way. I've got one more closing this afternoon for this year, for December, for 2021, and I'll be at 5.9 million. So I'm getting really, really close.
So close.
Yeah, I'm getting really close. I mean, that's literally one more transaction, and I can have that extra numbers there. But
starting in January, right?
We'll start brand new again. This year, the 2021's actually been my best year as far as volume goes in the business. I didn't close quite as many transactions, but I think that's a sign that I'm getting more efficient, Oh
yeah.
And higher price per sale that's going on there. So I'll end with 46 and at 5.9 million for this year, which I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all of those numbers. So
that's awesome. So 2022, you're going to get 6.5.
Yeah, at least, right? Yeah, at least. Maybe I'll get that halfway through the year and I'll be like, okay, let's go.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It would be nice to. That's definitely on the goal for 2022 is to hopefully diversify a little bit inside this business and then also inside the industry. I would like to be able to start building my own portfolio as far as rental properties go, or maybe we're looking at our second home. We're definitely remodeling our kitchen this year. I'm not putting it off anymore at our own house. I'm not doing it. But once we do that, then we can start to dive in and hopefully purchase another property or two.
Yeah, so. Lots of remodels.
I know, it's just like what we do. It's so crazy. I'm so sick of it. We had this, not that you guys really care that much, but we had a remodel in our bathroom this year. I literally asked Ben to paint the ceiling. Like, I just wanted the ceiling painted.
That was it.
And the next thing you know, the entire bathroom is completely gutted. The vanity's out. We're, like, chucking up the old tile floor that's, like, chicken wired down. Like, and now I have a brand new bathroom upstairs, but the ceiling's still not painted.
They're kind of addicting, though, aren't they?
So the
main thing.
It's still not painted.
That's
I swear
funny.
to God, it's not painted. I mean, we had to put new drywall everywhere, new surround, new tub. It was just, but no, the ceiling has not yet been painted. So, Hopefully the kitchen remodel, we're going to hire that one out.
Get it finished.
Yes. So it's all done.
Kind of backtracking a little bit. How did you get your first transaction? And how did it go? Was it smooth?
It was, my first transaction was a seller transaction. So usually when you're starting into the industry, you're starting with buyers, you're running around with them. But this was a little different. So my oldest daughter was, maybe she was in 3rd grade at the time. But one of her Girl Scout sisters, I don't know one of the girls in the Girl Scout, the mom was like, hey, we're going to sell our house. We heard that you're a realtor, so will you help us sell? And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Absolutely. I'm so excited, like a little anxiety prone, like a little nervous.
Like, I got this.
Yeah, right. I'm good. We can do it.
Into it.
And so we meet him at the house, and I've got like my whole book of my listing presentation. I don't have it memorized yet because I've never done this before, right? And we're sweating, and they're sweating, and they're nervous, and I'm nervous. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I just pushed the book to the side and said, hey, have you guys ever sold a house before? And they're like, no, we've never done this. And I was like, okay, me neither. So we're just going to work it out together, right? Like, I wouldn't suggest doing that at all, but it worked out really well. We got a full price offer within a couple of weeks and we're able to sell, and they already had another house lined up that they were moving into. So it did end up going really well. Yeah. The house, ironically enough, was on a corner lot, and one of the lots was Hudson Street. So it was like, oh, this is just meant to be. It's just good to go. So
first transaction, same last name.
Yeah, it was like a $69,000 house is what we sold for the first one.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you told them that you were newer, but since they were newer too,
we just told her both extremely uncomfortable. Like, they didn't really know how the process worked, and I honestly didn't really know how the process worked either. I mean, you're kind of fumbling through things. Like, it's that confidence, right? You don't have it because you've never done it before. Yep. And so, like, just, okay, fine. You know what? We're not going to look at any of this paperwork. We're not going to read all these scripts. Like, well, let's just be two real humans and like, let's figure this out. And we were able to, and everybody was happy. We all walked away with a little bit of money in our pocket and able on to the next one, That's awesome. And of course, one sign leads to another sign leads to another sign. So that's the best advertisement that you can have, is just a sign in the yard.
Do you remember how long you had your license before you got that first transaction?
Not very long.
Immediate? Okay.
Yeah, not very long. So I dove right in. I was like, I'm doing this. I'm going to be a realtor. And I was in like kind of a sink or swim sort of position financially. So there was like, some things happening externally. And of course I'm like, yeah, let's go into the riskiest business there is. Real estate sounds fine, but I had to be good at this. Like, I had to be successful in real estate, and nothing was going to stop me from doing that, So I think it was within the first couple of weeks that I had that first listing, because it was still hot outside. I think we ended up selling, like closing on that deal maybe the first week of November. I'd have to go back and look in my notes, but you know, if the average transaction takes between 4 and 6 weeks, then that means I would have signed that paperwork probably right around Labor Day. No, a little after Labor Day, maybe second week of September. And I joined my first brokerage like on Labor Day or the day after Labor Day. So it was pretty fast, but it helped, you know, like just propelled like jet fuel. Here we go, you know? So, yeah.
Did your second one come right after that immediate, or did that one take a little bit of time?
No, yeah. So, so my license date, I think technically is like August 26th of 2017. Joined the brokerage that Monday after Labor Day in 2017. And I ended up closing 3 deals before December 31st of 2017.
Oh, that's great.
So, I mean, I definitely like dove right in, like I said, and that's one a month after getting my license. I felt like that was pretty good. And then from there, you know, I don't think I breathed too much in 2018. I mean, 51 transactions, that's just shy of one a week that first year in, and there's still so much learning that you're doing. You're trying to participate in all of the things and make it to all of the happy hours and be on the YPN and participate in stuff at the board. And like make friends in the industry, because it's kind of cutthroat. It can be. It's, you know, it's not so bad in Jackson, thankfully, but in other industries and other markets, I know it's really, really hard. But it just was like, oh, you're doing business. Okay, then let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah.
Yep. When we first started recording, you mentioned that you finished out the academy.
Yes.
What is that all about?
So Michigan Realtors, you know, like once you're licensed, you're a part of your local association. You're also a part of the Michigan Realtors Association, and then you're also a part of the National Association of Realtors. So you're a part of the whole thing, right? So it all trickles down from NAR, nationals, and then at state level, and then local level.
Right.
For the Michigan Realtors, every year they do what's called a Leadership Academy. So it's basically a year-long training course that you're taking, so that eventually, if you so choose, you can start to climb the ladder at the state level and maybe eventually at the national level and be, on different committees there, have a say in some of the policies and procedures, and have a part of that trickle down effect. You know, like it's just kind of a broader scale than just being localized to the Jackson area. And so I had to apply for the scholarship and get a handful of, letter of recommendations, and I was able to do that. And nobody from Jackson's ever done that before, even applied, let alone like got accepted. Unfortunately, that all started in 2020, and then, of course, the grand old COVID came through, and so we had to do a lot of things virtual, and we actually were able to extend our academy program by an entire year just so that we had more time with each other. And we were with people, so I was from the Jackson market, obviously, but there was, a handful of people from the Detroit area that were in. Grand Rapids was a big player. Even Elk Rapids up towards Traverse City, we had a gal from there, and some people from farther south in Michigan, Ann Arbor area. It was really cool. So I've got this really awesome core group of really rock star realtors that I can lean on now and kind of have this new referral network, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is
and
awesome.
Hang out really close with like leaders from our state, that are doing all sorts of really cool stuff, and be able to bring that back home and say, hey, listen, this is what's happening at the state level. This is what we need to keep our eyes open for at the local level.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool to be a part of that. I was really thankful, and so many opportunities are going to come from that. Even already, they already have. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I definitely take real estate seriously.
Yeah.
It's it's all I do. I don't have any other jobs that I'm doing. We're a family of 6 at home, so it's that sink or swim thing is still there. And this is how we're building our business. This is how we're building our family, building our wealth. We're doing all of that stuff, and real estate is fueling all of those things for us. So not a part-timer.
I think it's hard to go into real estate part-time.
That would be a bear. I think, and you can do it. There's plenty of people that are like, oh yeah, I like looking at houses, so I'm going to get my real estate license. But it costs a lot of money to be a realtor too. We're paying a lot in local dues and state and national dues, paying a lot for photography and marketing. And, you don't actually need a whole lot of things in order to be successful in this business, but you do have to know the right people, and you do have to be able to spend a little bit of money. Because, if you're not willing to invest in your buyers and sellers, then why are they going to invest in you?
Right.
If I was an average Joe Blow not selling real estate, I personally would never want to hire a part-timer. I'd want to know that they take this job seriously, and that time is not divided between, you know, their office job or their hospital job or their daycare job or whatever it is, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm all in. You know what I mean?
Before we go today, how can people get a hold of you?
I'm all over the socials, obviously. You know, I'm not really great at Instagram, and I don't have a TikTok. I'd like to watch the videos, but I'm terrified of the TikTok. So, yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Kittyanne Hudson is just what you would search. Have my own website, www.kittyanhudson.com, and then I'm pretty good at answering emails and text messages too. So, 517-745-8768 is my cell phone. It's a direct line. If I don't answer that phone, leave me a message. I call you back. So
Sweet. Well, awesome. Hey, thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for the invite. It was pretty cool. I appreciate it.
Are these working?
All right.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. I think they're working. Should we tell them?
Mine keeps falling. It doesn't like my voice.
What do we got to tell them?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. What do we got to point at? Hey, I think there's a subscription button. Like
It might be there.
might be right there too.
Somewhere.
Find
it. It's red.
Yeah. And it's blue. It's green. I don't really know.
It's a color.
This mic isn't even attached. Did you plug these in? Well, I guess.
I wonder if they can hear us.
Yeah. I wonder if they hear us. Well, we should probably tell them if they can hear us. We should probably tell them also give us a 5-star review if they listen to on Apple. That'd be cool.
5 stars, guys.
Share it with everybody they can think of.
We won't take 4 stars.
I mean, Taylor, I don't even think these are on. I mean,
I don't think this is working.
This is not working.